Hello students, in this class we will see the last part of this chapter gravitation, that is Kepler's laws of planetary motion. Okay, basically this law comes first, then comes Newton's laws. Okay, but we had already read the Newton's laws. Now I am telling Kepler's laws, but before starting the Kepler's laws I am telling a little bit history about this. So first person was Galileo. Okay, Galileo first observed that the fact that any bodies, irrespective of their masses, falls down with a constant acceleration to the surface of Earth. Okay, that was the first observation by Galileo. Okay, then come to another Nobel person, that is Tycho Brahe. Tycho Brahe observed the planetary motion throughout his entire life. Okay, but he did not analyze that thing. Okay, he just observed the planetary motion and recorded the details. Okay, later on Kepler, this scientist Kepler comes and he analyzed Tycho Brahe's data properly, and he gave three laws. Those are known as Kepler's laws. Okay, Kepler's laws of planetary motion. Clear? So I will tell about this thing, and after that Newton's universal gravitational law comes into picture. Okay, that is that thing we read, okay, in class 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so this is a little bit history. Now come to Kepler's laws. What is the first law told by Kepler? Kepler told that any planet revolves in a orbit which is elliptical. Okay, and in that elliptical orbit, in ellipse, you will get two focus. Okay, in any one of the focus, the sun will lie. Okay, so Kepler's first law tells that any planet So the Kepler's first law tells that any planet revolves around the sun in an elliptical orbit. Circle is a special kind of ellipse. Okay, not a in general kind. Circle is a special kind of ellipse. I tell that part. Elliptical orbit. Any planet revolves around the sun in an elliptical orbit, and the sun situates at one of the foci of the ellipse. Okay. Here this is the first law. Okay, so elliptical orbit means it look like egg. Okay, this is an ellipse. Okay, here we can draw two lines. This is one line and another is this line. Okay, this distance is called major distance. Okay, or this axis is called major axis, and this one is called minor axis. Okay, there will be two focus of an ellipse. Suppose this is one focus. Okay, another focus will be there. So suppose sun is here, any one of the focus, sun will be there. This is our sun. Okay, this is the elliptical orbit. Suppose in this way the planet is rotating. Okay, in this way, and we all know that velocity at any point will be directed towards the tangent drawn at that point, right? Suppose at this point you want to find the direction of velocity, so draw a tangent. This will be the direction of velocity. At this point, draw a tangent. This will be the direction of velocity. Okay, so this is the first law. Here, this point, this is the nearest point to the sun. this point is denoted by P, and this point is known as this distance. This distance is known as perihelion. Okay, this point is called perihelion point, and this distance is the perihelion distance. It is denoted by RP. Okay, and the farthest point from the sun, this point is called aphelion point, and the distance from sun to this point is known as aphelion distance. This distance is denoted by RA, point is denoted by A. Clear? So here this is the smallest distance and this is the farthest distance. Clear? And semi-major axis. This is major axis. This is major axis. This is major distance. Semi-major distance or semi-major axis also. It will be this distance, half. Okay. So semi-major distance is denoted by A. Okay. What will be A? RP plus RA by 2. A will be RP plus RA by 2. Clear? So this is Kepler's first law, and few points I am writing there. Okay. I am not going into details of the ellipse, motion, all these things. Okay. Here RP, few things you will get. RP will be A into, RP is the perihelion, RP will be A into 1 minus E. Small e is known as eccentricity of the ellipse. Okay, like radius, we get radius in case of circle. So in case of ellipse, we will get few terms like eccentricity, like semi-major axis, semi-minor axis. Okay, so in this way you will get many things. Okay, so this is called eccentricity, small e, RP. RP is written as A into 1 minus E, and RA will be A into 1 plus E. Okay, I am not going into the details thing. Value of E always will be less than 1, in between 0 to 1. For ellipse, value of E eccentricity will be in between 0 to 1. Clear? So I am erasing this part. Now come to the second, Kepler's second law. Kepler's second law tells that the line joining between the sun and the earth. Okay, first I am drawing the diagram, then you will understand properly. Okay, so this is major axis, and this is suppose the foci where sun is there. Okay, clear? So the line joining between the sun and the planet, suppose planet is here. Okay, so the line joining between them, line joining between them. Okay, the line joining between the sun and the planet will cover equal area in equal time interval. Okay, so suppose I am taking the planet is going from this point to this point, to this point. Okay, after a time delta t. Okay, clear? Here we can calculate the area. Okay, we can calculate the area. Clear? Another point I am taking here, that is the farthest point. Okay, so I am joining by line. Okay, I am taking the same time delta t. Here in time delta t it covers the area this. Okay, suppose take the area of this part is suppose A1. Okay, so here the planet will go in this point after time delta t. So this will be the area. Okay, this is suppose A2, area is A2, but time is same delta t. Clear? So in the same time interval, the line joining between the planet and the sun is covering same area. Okay, that means we can tell same area means A1 by delta t will be equal to A2 by delta t, right? Delta t same, A1, A2 same. So it is known as aerial velocity. Aerial velocity. Okay. So now I am writing the statement of Kepler's second law. This is the diagrammatic part. This area and this area will be same if time interval is same. Delta t, delta t. Clear? So I am writing the Kepler's second law. So the line joining the planet and the sun covers equal area in equal time interval. Equal area in equal time interval. Okay, this line, this equal area in equal time interval, this line has another name, that is aerial velocity. Aerial velocity will be constant. Okay, aerial velocity will be constant. That means here delta A by delta t will be constant. Clear? Here delta A means here A1 and here A2. So this type of diagram is given. Here delta t, A1, A2 area. Which option is correct? 4 options are given. Then the correct option will be A1 equal to A2. Here remember, this time should be same. Otherwise they will not be equal. So here look, a very important thing, that is when the planet is coming near to the sun, then its speed is increasing. Okay, in the time delta t it is covering this much distance. But when the planet is far away from the sun, the speed is decreasing. Right? So there is a relation between the distance from the sun and the speed of the planet. Right? So what will be that relation? So that relation tells another important point. So that is that point we get from Kepler's second law. That is the planet will have constant angular momentum. Constant angular momentum. Okay, that means conservation of angular momentum you can take. So that here the motion of the planet will be under constant angular momentum. So if we talk at this point, suppose this point I am taking A point. This point is P point, perihelion, and this point is A point, aphelion. Okay. So here planet mass is suppose m. Okay. So angular momentum means linear momentum into perpendicular distance from the sun. Okay. So linear momentum is m v p. Perpendicular distance is r equal to m v a r. Okay. This one is not only true at these 2 points, perihelion and aphelion. At any point of its motion, it is true. Okay. So mvp equal to mvar. M cancel out. So v into r equal to constant. V into r equal to constant means v is inversely proportional to the distance from the sun. Right? So when distance is increasing, speed will be less. When distance is decreasing, speed will be more. Okay. So here conservation of angular momentum means constant angular momentum means its value will be same, and at the same time its direction will also be same, because angular momentum is a vector quantity. So direction is same. That means what? That means the planet is revolving in an elliptical orbit. That direction of that ellipse or the plane of that ellipse, okay, will not change. Its angle will not change. It will be same. If the plane of the ellipse is this, then that will be the plane always. Okay, otherwise the direction of angular momentum will change. Okay, but Kepler's second law tells that constant angular momentum, so its plane will not change. Okay, if plane does not change, then direction of angular momentum will not change, and here value will be constant. Clear? So this is Kepler's second law. Now come to Kepler's third law. Kepler's third law. Kepler's third law tells about the time period. Okay, time period for one complete rotation. Okay, so Kepler's third law tells that the square of the time or the square of the time period of the planet around the sun in an elliptical orbit is directly proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis of that elliptical orbit. Okay, so I am writing it. Kepler's third law, the square of time period of a planet around the sun in an elliptical orbit is directly proportional to the cube of semi-major axis. Semi-major axis denoted by small a. Cube of semi-major axis of that elliptical orbit. Okay, that means here we can tell square of the time period t square is directly proportional to a cube. Clear? So here t is what? T is time period of the planet, and A is semi-major axis of the orbit. Okay, so now here this is given for elliptical orbit, and I told that circle is a special kind of ellipse. Special kind of ellipse means semi-major and semi-minor axis will be same. Okay, here semi-major axis is greater than the semi-minor axis. Okay, so in case of circle, the semi-major and semi-minor axis will be same, and they are equal to the radius of that circle. So now we will prove this relation of Kepler's third law. Kepler's third law will prove for circular orbit. Okay, that is important. So I am erasing this. So now for circular orbit, we have already read about this part, circular orbit. This is our sun. Okay, sun will be at the center. This is suppose planet. Here I am taking A as the radius. Okay, semi-minor and semi-major will be same. And okay, this is, and the angular velocity of this angular velocity, or take what? Okay, speed is v. It is revolving in this direction. Okay, here the mass of this planet is small m, mass of the sun is capital M. Okay, so here when this planet is revolving in a circular orbit, that means that planet needs centripetal force. Okay, so the formula for centripetal force is mv square by a. Who will provide the centripetal force? Centripetal force will be provided by the gravitational attractive force, that is G m by a square. Okay, clear? Here we have to convert, we have to bring the time period t. T is what? Time period is the total distance by its width, that means 2 pi a by v. Okay, 2 pi a by v. Clear? So I am squaring on both sides here. So t square will be 4 pi square a square by v square. I am finding v square, okay? Then v square will be removed. V square is 4 pi square a square by t square. So I am putting it here. First of all, cancel out, okay? In here a and 1a cancel out. So v square will be 4 pi square a square by t square equal to gm by a. Okay. So here t square will be what? 4 pi square by gm into this a and here 2a, so a cube. Now this part is constant, okay? This part is constant because all the planets are revolving around sun, okay? There are how many? 8 planets are revolving around the sun. So for the 8 planets, this part will be the constant. That means t square is directly proportional to a cube, and it is proved. Clear? So this proof is important for your exam. Clear? Now I am showing one to numerical related to this formula. Okay. So this is the basic theoretical part of Kepler's laws of planetary motion. Now I am showing one to numerical related to t square proportional to a cube. Okay. So students, this is the first numerical. The time period of Jupiter is given. Tj is given 11.6 year. Okay. And how far is Jupiter from the sun? That means we have to find Aj. What are given? Distance of Earth from the sun, that means Ae is given. And we know that Te, that is 1. Right? So we will use that simple relation, T square proportional to A cube. So we have to find Aj. So Tj square by Te square equal to Aj cube by Ae cube. We can write in this way, right? So put the values and find Aj cube. So Aj cube will be Tj square. Tj means 11.6 square. Te means 1 into Ae cube. It will go in this side, Ae cube. So 1.5 into 10 to the power 11 cube. Okay. So Aj will be what? Aj, this to the power 1 by 3, 11.6 square to the power 1 by 3 into this to the power 1 by 3, this to the power 1 by 3. Power will be multiplied. So we will get here 1.5 into 10 to the power 11. Clear? So Aj will be what? Aj to calculate Aj now, take your calculator. Okay. 11.5 10 to the power 8, 1.5 into 10 to the power 11 into 11.6 to the power 2 by 3. 11.6 to the power 2 by 3. Okay. You will get 7.68 into 10 to the power 11. Okay. So this kind of numerical you can get. Okay, very easy. Just direct proportion. So in this way we can write. Then put the values and find the answer. Clear? Now come to the second numerical. So students, this is your next numerical. First read the numerical. Time period of a satellite of Earth is given, that means T1, that is given 8 hours. If the separation between Earth and that planet is increased 2 times, okay, initially the separation is suppose A, okay. Second case, separation becomes 2 times, 2A. What will be the time period of the satellite? Okay, again TA, okay. That means we can use this relation, T square is directly proportional to A cube. So we can write T1 square, T2 square, A1 cube, A2 cube. Clear? We have to find T2. So T2 square will be T1 square A2 cube by A1. Now put the values. T1 means 8, so 8 square into A2 by A1. A2 by A1, that means 2A by A. Cube, A cancel out. Okay. Again T2 will be root over this. Okay. That means root over 8 square into root over 2 cube. 2 cube means 8, right? So after this 8 square, under root 8 square will be 8, under root 8 will be 2 root 2, that means 16 root 2 out. Clear? So in this way you have to find. So the basic formula is this. Okay? Okay. So this is our topic, Kepler's laws of planetary motion, and in this way our this chapter gravitation is finished. Okay students?